Hi, I'm Roger Beahm. I'm a professor of practice in marketing in the Wake Forest University School of Business. We're here today to talk about our Wake Forest MBA program, specifically in Charlotte. I have with me one of my former students and an esteemed alum of our school, Will Caldwell. I'd like to introduce Will to you now.
I'm Will Caldwell. I'm a physician. I was at the Wake Forest School of Business in the evening program in Charlotte from 16 to 18, and actually had Roger for a class. So it was, I'm always tickled to death when he describes me as a student, because at age 50, it's rare that I get described that way. So thank you, Roger.
So you have started or are part of a business now too, besides your medical career. It's medically related. Tell us a little bit about the company that you're now the CEO of and how that fits with your MBA degree.
So let me go back a couple of years, because I think it'll help frame up the conversation. So I was practicing and have been practicing for about 21 years, and got involved in the business side of healthcare with a large healthcare integrated delivery network. And that was the point at which I went back and got my MBA at night at Wake Forest. And it was a wonderful opportunity, the schedule, to be able to go to work during the day, be very busy as a healthcare executive, really learning how to be a healthcare executive, but alongside that, having the didactic coursework in the evenings that I could literally try the next day. I could, was an amazing couple of years. I left the health system and went to work for a large data analytics company. It's a public data analytics company as their lead physician in Salt Lake City, and really did it because I didn't understand data analytics. And I'm running this large healthcare network of physicians, and I thought, my gosh, I've got to learn something about this, because I can't scale improvement if I don't understand how to manage and use data analytics more effectively. And so I joined this company. It was a wonderful experience. I was with them for about 3.5 years. The founder of Health Catalyst, this company, came to me and said, hey, I've got some software at Intermountain Healthcare in Salt Lake, and a team that's been working for the past 4 years. I think they really got something. Would you take a look at it? I said, sure. So I flew out, and one thing led to another. It was an amazing team and an amazing tool that allowed physicians and healthcare providers to take processes, pathways. So Roger, you come into the ER with chest pain. There's a specific way you should be treated, right? Called a best practice. And to the degree that we can stick to that best practice driven pathway, you're going to do better, right? You're going to get home to your family. You're going to get out of the hospital. You're going to be healthy. You're going to be able to teach courses. And hopefully we're going to be able to do it for less money as a healthcare system. And what we do is we take that pathway that right now in so many systems is on a sheet of paper, and we digitize it. And when we digitize it, it can be placed directly at the point of care into the medical records tool and can help direct the physician. It's called clinical decision support. And so that's what we do. We started the company officially 3 months ago. We went out and I raised money from some private equity folks, and Intel Capital is our lead investor, and we're off and running. And I will tell you that in the experience of going out and raising money, there's no way I could have done that without my experience at Wake. There just isn't. It's a fairly brutal experience to begin with, and you're on the hot seat. And if you don't understand the question that they're asking, you certainly can't answer it.
Right.
And so I think that's where a lot of the financial coursework helped, a lot of the accounting coursework. And then once we got funded, then moving into building a company and hiring people and developing a marketing plan and figuring out, what sort of culture we wanted to have, and then what sort of leader I wanted to be at the company, and how we're going to develop other leaders at the company. All of these things stem directly from the coursework at Wake Forest. Yeah. So Right. It's been very exciting. I don't know, two thoughts. I don't know we could be where we are today at Sevilla Health without the people that I have around me. They're amazing. Number two, I don't think I could be where I am at Sevilla Health without having gone to business school. It's been very, very difficult as a physician to step into a role like this and be successful.
So what would be the one thing, if as you look back on your MBA career at Wake, what would you do differently that now that you see where you are after coming through the program and being in business, what would you do differently?
Well, I'm going to answer that in two ways. One is I would go do it sooner. I would have done it sooner in my career. I think that I missed opportunities earlier where I had great ideas, but I didn't know how to bring them to market, or I didn't know how to lead folks effectively. And so that's number one. I think number two, I would turn the question around a little bit, and I would answer it in this way. There were things that I learned at Wake Forest that I wish I had known, and I would have done my entire academic career differently based on the things that I learned. And one of those is go learn just for the sake of learning. So when I went back to get my MBA, I wasn't trying to get into medical school. I wasn't trying to win an award. I wasn't trying to achieve a grade. I just wanted to go learn the stuff because I didn't know where revenue went and what an asset was versus something on the income statement. And so I had to learn that stuff. I didn't want to look like an idiot. And so I think that's the thing I would say is the sheer joy of going back into a didactic program for 2 years where I was immersed in topics that I really wasn't exposed to during my medical training. Okay, whether they be business related or whether they be more leadership related, was wonderful. It was fantastic. And what I found is that I learned the material because I needed to learn the material to achieve a greater good, to achieve another goal. And I think growing up and going through college and medical school and even residency and all, you're just trying to get through. You're just trying to get to the next step.
Right.
And so I guess, if I were to give advice, stop trying to just get to the next step and go learn and sit down, take 2 years to go get your MBA. And get your MBA because you want to learn the material, not because you want to get a better job. If you go learn the material and you focus on it and you put the time in, one, it'll be a whole heck of a lot more fun. And you're going to get out and there are going to be these gems that surface as you go out into the business world or back to your medical career, whatever it is you do, that are going to make your life so much richer and you're going to be so much more successful. And so if I were to give advice, it would be do that sooner in your academic career because it pays off. It's such a better way to learn.
Thank you. We've talked about the past. We've talked about your present. Let's talk about the future. What do you see where you're at in your career today, the future value of your Wake MBA is going to be?
Well, we've touched on a few things. I mean, I think one of the most obvious things is the credibility it brings to me as a physician. So physicians aren't known for their business acumen, rightly or wrong, rightly or wrongly. And so I think number one, there's a huge advantage of having the MBA behind my name when I walk into a boardroom, and that'll continue to be an advantage. That doesn't last long, right? Unless you can actually have some substance behind what you're bringing into the boardroom. And what I've found is that I'm constantly remembering things from just about every class that I took that I'm not consciously going back and reviewing notes or reading a book, but they just pop up in conversation or an opportunity arises and I say, oh, I remember this. I said, this is an opportunity where I can go down this road or I can go down this road. And so I think that's been incredibly valuable to me. Just the breadth of kind of knowledge that allows me to interact with people in the business world in a way that I couldn't otherwise. Yeah. And I think that's probably paying more and more dividends the further I get down the road. The other obvious things are the nuts and bolts of business. How do you read a financial statement? How do you create a model, right? If you're starting a company, how do you market that company? How do you think about that? And then lastly, a lot of my focus in healthcare has been outside of this country. And unfortunately, in philanthropy, there's not always a great business sense that's brought to the table, right? So you have people that are volunteering, you have people that want to do the right thing, and I was one of those people. But you could never really kind of get it to markets. You could never really achieve what you were trying to achieve in, say, a community health program in Southwest Haiti. And what I'm finding is what I've learned in business school has really enabled me to not just continue a community health worker program in Haiti, but create a community health worker training program in Haiti. And I'm constantly amazed at how it allows me to increase the complexity of what I bring to the table, I guess is the way to think about it.
Right.
Whether it's in a boardroom or whether it's in a field in Southwest Haiti. How do you manage complexity and do it in such a way that you can achieve an outcome that's exponentially greater than what you could have achieved without that skill set? And that skill set is the Wake Forest MBA.